Hi guys, this is Saurav and you're watching Matsala. Guys, our today topic is facial nerve, that is the cranial nerve number 7. Hi guys, and it has very important clinical. So guys, before starting the facial nerve, do subscribe our channel and our Instagram link had been given in the description box. So if you want, you can check out our Instagram handle. We post questions and many more exciting content there. So let's start. So the facial nerve originates from the medulla. So the nucleus of the facial nerve are present in the pons. So as I said that from the fifth to eighth cranial nerve, these nerves originate from the pons. So we have four nuclei. Suppose this is your pons, this is your corticospinal fibers. So you will have four nuclei. So the first nuclei is the main motor nuclei, that is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So this is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve and it carries the special visceral efferent fibers. So now the question comes, what is the special visceral efferent fibers? So special visceral efferent fibers are the fibers that innervates the muscle that had been originated from the mesoderm of the pharyngeal arches. Actually, our facial muscles also originates from the pharyngeal arches. So this motor nucleus carries the special visceral efferent fibers and innervate the facial muscle. So the next nucleus that we have here is superior salivatory, and near to it you will have the lacrimative nucleus. So guys, these are the parasympathetic nucleus. Just take it as a one because it is very near. So these are the parasympathetic nucleus and it carries the general visceral efferent fibers. Now the question comes, what is GVE? That is general visceral efferent. So these are the fibers that innervates to the smooth muscles or glands, or they carry the preganglionic fibers for the parasympathetic system. So here for the facial nerve, these two nucleus, that is the superior salivatory and the lacrimative nucleus, these two nucleus carries the parasympathetic fibers. If you say precisely, it carries the preganglionic fibers for the parasympathetic innervation. The third nucleus, that is very important nucleus we have, this is the nucleus tractus solitarius. So guys, these two nucleus that were the lacrimatory and the motor nucleus, these two were efferent. Okay, so the fibers used to carry the command, but the nucleus tractus solitarius is the sensory nucleus, at least for the facial nerve. It gets the innervation from the tongue and some of the innervation from the submandibular and the sublingual gland. So the afferent that goes to the nucleus tractus solitarius is the special visceral efferent. Now the question comes, what is a special visceral efferent? Right, so note that the special visceral efferent means the sensation of the taste from the tongue. It is very important because special somatic efferent means the sensation from the nose, ears, and like mainly sensation of the hearing, smell, and the balance. So please note that this special visceral efferent is the taste. Some of the very few, not much, some of the fibers that goes to the nucleus tractus solitarius is GVA, that is the general visceral efferent. So what does this general visceral efferent fibers carries? It carries the pain from the visual organ. So here for the facial nerve, this nucleus tractus solitarius get GVA and SVA. So by SVA it receives the taste from the tongue, and by GVA it receives the pain from the submandibular gland and the lingual gland. So the next nucleus that we have is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So it carries the sensory information from the area near the ear. So it carries the general somatic efferent. So the general somatic efferent fibers mainly carries the normal sensation that we feel on the skin, that is the pain, proprioception, vibration, all these things is carried by the general sensory efferent fibers. Now we're going to see about the course of the facial nerve. So guys, as you can see, this is a facial nerve. Okay, it lies medially to the vestibulocochlear nerve, that is the cranial nerve number 8. So this is your vestibulocochlear nerve, and this one is your facial nerve. So actually, facial nerve has two types of root, the sensory and the motor. So the nerve from these two type of root will come from the pontomedullary junction, and after that these will run parallelly with the vestibulocochlear nerve. Actually guys, see, suppose for example, suppose this is your yellow color is your vestibulocochlear nerve. So just medial to that you will have your sensory root, and medial to the sensory root you will have your big motor root. So this is the configuration. So the sensory root is also called the nervus intermedius. Okay, so note that the sensory root is also called as the nervus intermedius. So as you can see, just after emerging from the pontomedullary junction, these two nerve will go in the internal acoustic meatus. This is your internal acoustic meatus. So now you'll see the course inside the internal acoustic meatus, and it is important because inside the inner ear near the labyrinth and the cochlea, it forms the geniculate ganglia. Okay, one more thing that I want to say, that along with these two nerve you will have some vessel that is called as the labyrinth vessel that will be present in the inner ear. So this is a view inside the inner ear. So as you can see, this is your this is your vestibulocochlear nerve, and this is your facial nerve. So the course is not exactly like this. I will try to tell you the correct course. So actually what happens, this facial nerve will come like this, and here it will form a bend. Okay, so and it will go like this. So at this bend, at the first bend, you will have your geniculate ganglia. We will see the geniculate ganglia in detail when we will see the distribution of the facial nerve. So after that, it will go like this. Then it will go little bit horizontally. Then it will go down. So we will see that down portion from the next view. So as you can see, it is going down. So it will have a second bend here. While when it will go from horizontal to vertical, it will take a second bend. After entering in the internal acoustic meatus to the first bend, it is called as the labyrinth segment. From the first bend to the second bend, it is called as the tympanic segment, and from the second bend till it exits from the stylomastoid foramen, it is called as the mastoid segment. So after going down, this facial nerve will exit the petrous part of the temporal bone through the stylomastoid foramen. So as you can see, this is the facial nerve which is exiting from the stylomastoid foramen. So guys, the path that it follows in the temporal bone is called as a facial canal. So you can say that the path, the canal through which the facial nerve travel in the temporal bone, that canal is called as the facial canal. As you can see guys, these portion, this Z-shaped canal is called as the facial canal. One more thing that I want to tell you, when you will see the cross section in the internal ear, you will be able to note that this will be your vestibulocochlear nerve. It's quite thick. In the groove of that vestibulocochlear nerve, your facial nerve will present, and you'll have your labyrinthine vessels, that is the vein and the artery, accompanying the facial nerve and the vestibulocochlear nerve. So as I said to you that the nervus intermedius, that is the sensory part of the facial nerve, will be present in between the motor part. So this is the motor part, and this is sensory part, which is present in between the motor part and the vestibulocochlear nerve. So guys, I hope the course is clear. Now we're gonna see the branches and the distribution. Okay guys, now we're gonna see about the branches and the distribution of the facial nerve. To make it simpler, what we're gonna do, we will see each and every nucleus and the nerve that is originating from each and every nucleus. So just suppose this is your motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So the nerve from this motor nucleus will enter in the internal acoustic meatus. In the internal ear, while going down, it will give a branch. This branch is called the nerve to stapedius muscle. This is your motor root. After that, it will come out from the stylomastoid foramen. This is your styloforamen. Then just after coming from the stylomastoid foramen, it will give a branch. This branch is called as the posterior auricular branch, which will supply occipitalis auricularis posterior muscle and some intrinsic muscle at the back of the ear. So after that, this is your posterior auricular branch. After that, it will give a branch that will supply the posterior belly of digastric muscle. Posterior belly of digastric muscle. Okay. After that, this root will go in the parotid gland. So this is a parotid gland. In the gland itself, it will divide into 5 branch. That is the temporal, zygomatic, upper buccal, lower buccal, marginal mandibular, and the cervical. So these branches will innervate the facial muscle. So I hope when you had read the parotid gland, you will be knowing these branches innervate the facial muscle. And we have one more root, that is sensory root. This is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. It will simply go near the auricle, near your ear, and from there it will carry the general somatic efferent. So guys, this motor nucleus carries the spatial visceral efferent, that is, it provides the motor innervation to the muscle, which is originated from the pharyngeal arches. So the next nucleus that we have is the nucleus tactus solitarius. It mostly gets the spatial visceral efferent information, that is a taste. So what will happen? This nucleus tactus solitarius will give the fibers, and this fibers will go to the tongue. This is a tongue, and it will innervate anterior to it will innervate anterior two-third of the tongue except the circumvallate papilla or the valid papilla. So please note this thing, that the nucleus ductus solitarius gives a nerve that is called as the cauda tympani nerve, and this cauda tympani nerve will go to the tongue and innervate the anterior two-third. Actually guys, this is the internal ear. In the middle ear you have the malleus, incus, and the stapedius. Between the malleus and the incus, this nerve will cross the middle ear and called as the cauda tympani nerve. Okay, so it will enter in the middle ear through the posterior canalicus, and it will exit the middle ear through the anterior canalicus. So please remember these things. This is very important for the MCQs. Actually guys, this nucleus tactus solitarius get some fibers from the general visceral efferent, that is the normal pain fibers. So some fibers will go, let me draw a dotted line. Some fibers will go near the submandibular and the sublingual gland and carries the normal sensation, that is a pain. So the next and the last nucleus that we have is the lacrimatory and the superior salivatory nucleus. These nucleus are the general visceral efferent, that is, it carries the parasympathetic information. So guys, note this is actually very important to understand these two nucleus, because these two nucleus are connected to the ganglion. So suppose this is a lacrimatory nucleus. The fibers from the lacrimatory nucleus in the facial canal, it will cross the ear and it will go to the lacrimal gland. This is the lacrimal gland. But before going to the lacrimal gland, it relays at the ganglion that is called as the pterygopalatine ganglia. Okay, so this is your pterygopalatine ganglia. So I don't have much space, so I will write in RF and writing only. So guys, as I said you that some fibers from the nucleus tractus solitarius is has the general visceral efferent, that is the pain. So some fibers will go along the fibers of the fibers from the lacrimal nucleus. It will go to the lacrimal gland and it will go to the area near the nose, palate, and some glands. So what will happen? So here this nerve is called as the greater petrosal nerve. It's called as the greater petrosal nerve, and this nerve will go in the pterygoid canal. So when it goes in the pterygoid canal, it is accompanied by deep petrosal nerve. So here the deep petrosal nerve originate from the sympathetic plexus that is around the internal carotid artery. That's a different thing we'll see in the different lecture. So here it is called as the median nerve. Okay, one more thing that I want to tell you that these sensory nucleus, that is the superior salivatory and the lacrimotor nucleus, will form a ganglion here. Actually, these nerve fiber are the pseudounipolar fibers. So it will form a ganglion, and this ganglion is called as the geniculate, and this ganglion is called as the geniculate ganglia. Sorry for the wrong spelling because I don't have much space here. You see the spelling in the book. So this median nerve will form the relay connection at the pterygopalatine ganglia. After that, it gives the post-ganglionic fibers which will supply the lacrimal gland. So guys, that's why I was telling that the general visceral efferent fibers gives the preganglionic fiber for the parasympathetic nervous system. So the next nucleus that we have is the superior salivatory nuclei. So it will go along the cauda tympani nerve and it will end at the submandibular ganglia. So after that, the fibers will go and innervate the submandibular gland and the sublingual gland, and this is how it controls the secretion of the lacrimal gland as well as the submandibular and the sublingual gland. So guys, okay, now we'll see some clinicals. So guys, just think that you have a lesion here just after coming from the stylomastoid foramen. So this lesion will cause the Bell's palsy. I hope you have read the Bell's palsy. Just think what will happen if you have a lesion here. So if you have a lesion here, the patient will have the Bell's palsy as well as he will lose the sensation of the tongue. He will be not able to feel the taste. Okay, just imagine what will happen if you have the lesion here. If you have a lesion here, the patient will not able to hear the proper frequency. Stapedius muscle synchronize the frequency and the amplitude. So the patient will have a problem in hearing. Next thing guys, what will happen if you have a lesion here? So at this place, all the thing that I said earlier, along with he will have some problem in the lacrimation. So guys, one thing that I forgot to tell you, actually I had drawn this is a rough diagram, but in actual it will also have a like here you will have a geniculate ganglia for the superior salivatory as well as the lacrimotor nucleus. So actually guys, geniculate ganglia is a sensory ganglia, so it is a pseudo unipolar neuron that ends at the submandibular and the pterygopalatine ganglia. So I hope you will be knowing that we have a dorsal root ganglia that is formed by the pseudo unipolar neurons. So guys, that's all for this facial nerve. I hope I had covered all the aspect of the facial nerve. So guys, that's all for today. I hope you had liked this video. If you did, then don't forget to subscribe my channel. Share this video to your friend. It's gonna help everyone. Guys, so don't forget to check out our Instagram handle. The link had been given in the description box. You will get the MCQs and the questions and many more exciting content. You guys, sort of signing out.